I know, it's been ages since we've had a walk, hasn't it? Weather's been horrible. And is this overdue? There's still a breeze today, but it's nothing like the winds we've had for the last week. I was just very unsure about walking down this dirt road that's up ahead with that sort of wind. Especially after seeing that other tree blown over. Not a bad place to walk. We haven't reached the dirt road yet. Good boy, Pat. You can still hear the highway. That's just because the sound carries so much through all the gullies. But there's about 3 or 4 different birds around it, making their little calls. Sydney recorded another 171 cases overnight, or to 8 o'clock yesterday they said. 60 or 61 of those infectious in the community. 2 elderly women passed away, and they were family contacts. So somebody in the family had gotten COVID and had to isolate at home, and the elderly parents or something like that were in the same house, caught COVID, weren't vaccinated and passed away. Easy, boys. No, I don't want to go saying that everybody who's getting infectious is running around in the community on purpose. There's been a few cases of that. They did say in the news conference they think because you can, just like before, you can have COVID without any symptoms, and so people are waiting too long to go and get a test. Because as soon as you get a test, you've got to isolate at home until you get your results. Like, you can't go to work, you can't go shopping, anything like that. Easy, easy. Oh. I think if they put a call out that's saying, look, there's cases coming up in your area, please go and get tested, you go and get tested. They released more guidelines on the stricter lockdown for schools. Yeah, we're not allowed to have parents up at all. Everything has to be mailed out now. We've been told to prepare for the whole term, but we don't want to overwhelm the families. Like receiving a massive bundle of work. There was an announcement on Nessa today that, like last lockdown last year, they're kind of relaxing the curriculum requirements for K through to 10 to try and ease the burden on families, students, teachers. I think at the same time though, a lot of school staff, a lot of teachers were already ready to go for the term with their curriculum, their resources and that sort of thing. And they've been able to modify them. We're sending paper copies out of everything to make sure that every student gets it, because not everybody has access to the internet. And if you've got a Google Classroom, which we all do, then the work goes out on Google Classroom as well, so that kids can have it complimentary and that sort of thing. We don't have to bust a gut to try and get it all ready, because it's going to get mailed out starting, I think, late this week or early next week. And that's the thing, there was, on the conference, they keep pushing the Premier for, you've got to be stricter, you've got to be tougher, you've got to put, you can be as, to be honest, you can be as strict as you want to be. There's still going to be people out there that do bugger all for the community. Like at the moment, we're all in this together. We've all got to take our time. We've got to lock down. If you go out, you've got to wear your mask. You've got to go and get vaccinated. But there's so many groups of people that aren't doing it. That stupid bloody protest on the weekend. Are we going to expect a massive spike in cases because of that? If the people there that were on this march were all these people who are anti-lockdown, anti-vaccination, they're probably also anti-testing, because there were some people that had anti-test shirts on. So they're not going to go get tested. We're not going to know cases until all of a sudden they're super sick. And that's if they actually go out. The one thing that annoyed me the most was this one reporter that was asking this question, saying, we've got parents who are at home with their kids and they're probably working from home as well, and they can't juggle working from home and helping to school their kids. Can they send their kids to school? Premier didn't say no. She said it quite politically and diplomatically. And he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And she eventually just said, I've answered the question. You know, and he said, this is a yes or no answer. I can say that if I was up there and I was answering the same way, based on the health advice and the fact that we need people to not be moving around in the community, we all need to be in on this. If he kept going, I just would have said, no. We also have parents who are teachers who are working from home trying to teach all of their classes as well as their own kids. I'm sorry. I mean, the reason that we're not allowed to have parents come up to the school anymore is we've been told we are not to encourage people to leave their house. We're under a strict lockdown. Things will be mailed out, and I think the mail is only going 3 days a week now to try and cut down on posties getting around. We're in this for the long haul. I think the hardest part on a lot of staff are the teachers of seniors who still really don't know how these kids are going to get through their HSC. Our boss made a comment that he said they'll be bringing out some more advice about the HSC. They might end up relaxing it a little bit for students who need to do major projects so that they can still come in. And I'm just thinking, no. As much as I don't want my kids to fail, I'm not going to travel into a hot zone. I'm not want them travelling out of their homes, into the school, intermingling when they're not supposed to. Even if we do follow all COVID-safe procedures, that'd mean wiping down every tool and power tool in between use. Especially power tools, hand tools. There's enough for my little class to say, okay, you've got your own tool, don't touch anybody else's. Power tools, I don't have that luxury. Every time you make an exception, something can go wrong. And I don't want to be the person who gets sick because of it. I'm sorry. I'm so stressed about what's going to happen with the kids' results, but I'm not going to jeopardise my health for it. My health has already been stuffed around by whatever happened last year. This makes me happy. Weather was nice today, so I managed to get these out here. Spraying is taking a while, but I've gotten 2 sides done because I did one side and then I've sort of rolled them sideways. I'll let that dry and then I can get the other 2 sides done, and it shouldn't take too long because it's quite warmish. See how we go. Set it up a little bit differently so that I can spray. I've done 3 sides of them so far with the undercoat. This is the second time round, so I'm just letting this dry and I can get one more. Then a couple of coats of top coat. That was a bit of adventure. I'm sitting here in the study making some work up for my year 10 class, and all of a sudden I was listening to a podcast at the time, and then I just heard what sounded like rain. I looked out the window and it was just dark clouds. It's a little bit better now, but that just blew across. But I still had all of the pickets just lined up along that stuff drying. I bolted downstairs. I just scooped them up in giant piles and chucked them in the shed. They were pretty much dry. I think some of them were starting to get wet. But I now recall that my wife was saying the weather report did say 40% chance of rain today, but that wasn't just rain. It just barreled in. I got it all in. Got myself something to eat. I'll come up and finish this work. It's 20 to 5, so I really shouldn't be working anymore. But anyway. So we got a beautiful day today. That's how my pickets got left yesterday, because I just grabbed them and threw them in here. So they've had 2 coats of primer all over them. So I'm going to start on the exterior coats. These are my exterior paints. I don't know if I've got a lot of the gloss, but I do have some matte. So I might go for a matte coat first, so I can finish with a gloss coat, but at least they're getting the coats they need for being protected. I'm in luck. I forgot that I bought a smaller tin of the exterior white gloss. This was my original tin, and these two are actually the same brands. They changed the name of Endure to All Weather. So, because I remember when I went to buy that, and I asked for that, and they said, yep, they've changed the name. So I've got plenty. That's like a good part of a tin, and this one's about here. So I'll get started.